Hello, children. A very good morning. In the last presentation, we had dealt with the preventive measures of pollution, basically, the measures that is taken by the government in order to curb the air pollution was dealt with. Today, we are going to deal with the other preventive measures like carpooling, promotion of public transport, and no smoking zone. Carpooling, in the modern world, it has become synonymous with the preventive measure of vehicular emission. So, carpooling actually, what does it mean? It means um, sharing of the car. Okay, it means car sharing, also ride sharing, or we say lift sharing, and it is also known as a converge. That is sharing of the car in the journey, so that more than one person is traveling towards a certain destination. That is known as carpooling. According to the concept of carpooling, people who are living in the same area and going towards a same direction for work, those people, they should not be using individual vehicles. Instead, they can use or share the vehicle of each other. That is carpooling. By following the concept of carpooling, there are various advantages. So what are those advantages? First one, it reduces each person's use, as well as the cost is reduced to a great extent. Not only that, as a vehicle passes through a certain toll, what is happening? Toll tax will have to be paid. But if many people are using the same vehicle, then only one person will have to pay the toll. Not only that, it also reduces the stress of driving. Okay, it also reduces the stress of driving. Apart from it, there is lesser amount of carbon emission. There will not be traffic congestion. Lesser amount of traffic congestion will be there. That's because number of vehicles are reduced to a great extent on the roadways, and the parking space, there won't be scarcity of parking space because lesser number of vehicles are there. And that is why carpooling can also be called a very environmental friendly or eco-friendly method of preventive method of pollution. Second advantage is reduces the use of non-renewable fossil. So what is happening is the vehicles that we use in the recent time, those are basically used by the run by the fossil fuel, that is petroleum. It can be petroleum. So the use of petroleum or the fossil fuel which is not renewable at all, okay, it is non-renewable fossil fuel, because as it gets over, we cannot reclaim it. So those kind of fuels are saved to a great extent because of the use of carpooling. Number of car is reduced to a great extent, because if many individuals were using their individual vehicles to go for a work, then what is happening now, they are grouping together and using only one vehicle. So that way, number of cars are reducing to a great extent, and the authorities, mostly they encourage carpooling, especially when there is very high pollution, as well as when there is rise in the fuel price. At that time, they encourage the use of carpooling system. Carpooling is mostly useful for those people who work in a place with more jobs nearby. If many offices are nearby, then carpooling is more useful. Not only that, it is also useful in those places which has a very high residential density, where lots of people are living. In those places also, carpooling are very important. It plays a very crucial important role. But the system of carpooling should be flexible. Okay, it should be reliable, and it should be flexible. Not only that, it should be of great security to the people who are using it. Otherwise, it will be a great failure if it is not secured to the people who are participating in it. Let us now talk about another preventive measure, that is promotion of public transport. Public transport, we all know, it is an alternative mode of transport. Apart from the individual vehicles, there is a mode of transport, that is the public transport. And public transport, it is shared passenger transport services. Okay, and it is available for the general public, like the trains, trams, buses. All these are the example of public transport. And the public transport, it is quite different for the other means of transport like carpooling, taxi cabs, hired buses. That's because it is shared amongst the stranger. Public transport, it is shared amongst the strangers. That is the difference. In the case of public transport as well, there is lesser congestion, and air pollution also decreases to a great extent. That's also because here also, though it is shared amongst the strangers, but still it is a shared vehicle. So that way, there a number of vehicles on the road, it is reducing to a great extent, thus leading to lesser congestion and lesser air pollution. When there is a comparison between the buses and the metros and the local trains, we see that the buses has very low capacity. That's because buses are small in comparison to the trains and metros, and the commuters that is on the buses are lesser in number in comparison to the trains and metros. Again, talking about the comparison between the metros and the train, metros and the trains are quite fast in comparison to the buses, okay? And metros, they can transport large number of population or people quickly, that is over a very short distance. So efficient transportation is done via the metros. So if there is efficient public transport, then obviously there's reduction in the number of private vehicles that is plying on the roadways. Because of the public transportation, there is reduction in the population to a great extent, especially in the towns and the cities. Not only that, if there's promotion of the public transport, then they can reduce the number of car or vehicles that is used individually. That way there's a saving of the energy as well, and obviously pollution also decreased to a great extent. Smoking bar, it is actually the law of a smoke free area, okay, and it includes the occupational safety and health regulation that prohibits the use of tobacco, especially in the workplace. Not only that, public spaces like in hospitals, auditorium, libraries, court, they are people are not supposed to smoke, okay? That is smoking bar. Why has the smoking bar been implemented? That's because it is considered that smoking is optional. People smoke because they wish to, but breathing, we will have to breathe to live, so that is not optional. So in order to protect the people from passive smoking, okay, and the after effect of passive smoking, like the risk of heart disease is there, cancer is there. So because of that, this smoking bar has been implemented. In India, Chandigarh was the first city where there was implementation of a smoke-free city. That was in July 2007, and inspired by Chandigarh, the government of India also banned smoking in public places. That was with effect from 2nd of October 2008. Even in USA, there has been a cut in the premature birth by 10% after banning smoking in public. So tobacco smoking, we all know it is very serious health hazard, and it must be banned at all the cost. So children, this is all for today. We will continue with other preventive measures in the next presentation. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.